Okay, good morning to the last new chapter in this winter semester. Uh, Today is another important effect on our decisions will be a new factor, or it means another factor that we have to take it into consideration. It's called inflation. So inflation, or the effect of inflations above on the making decisions that we have in the before. So can you tell me what is the inflation? Is it, have you heard about the inflation? Um,
Sir, I think it's having currency more than what you plan for or you need, so it's less value.
so yeah, means the currency itself will lose its power. This is precisely what is the definition is. Means that uh, let me, yeah, sorry. Um, Now let me say that you are here and you wanna go and buy a leaf of bread. Okay, this is you in 19, for example, 80. In 19, after 10 years, or in 19, after 10 years, let me say, in nowadays 2020, it will become 40 years, right? And you will go and buy the same weight, the same amount of a leaf of a bread. So look at the price. Here's the price was, for example, it was in terms of, so for example, it was, I think I remember not in 1980 because that's too much, but in 1989 or 1990. So the 10 breads, so it was about one Iraqi dinar. And nowadays, if you want to go buy 10 leaf of bread, it will cost you about 1,250 Iraqi dinar. So look at the Iraqi dinar. The shared thing between these two, it is the same leaf, it is the same bread, the same weight, but the currency itself will not have the same power. Now it was 10, and then now 1 dinar, it was in terms of dinars, this is in terms of thousands of dinars. Now, in the same way, I think our parents are told me that when they want to for example, to do Hajj, they exchange Iraqi dinars by dollars. So 33 Iraqi dinars will was about $100. That's in 1980s. Nowadays, dollars are not look like this. Now, $100 is equal to 1,250,000, right? Iraqi dinar. So well, it means $1 is equal to 1,200. So look at the change. The change, it means itself. The dollar is the same dollar. The dollars, we can say the dollar, it might considered as a standard thing, as a standard measuring thing. And by the way, dollar itself will not have the same power. In the before, dollars was much has in the much power than today's dollar. That's why we call this. This is called inflation. Inflation. It means that look like some berry having a weight more than itself, and it's for nothing. So, and in Arabic it's called tadakhum, in Kurdish called halawsa. The effect of inflation of our decision making is exactly the inverse of having interest rate. Now, what that means? It means that if you want to plan to get $100 to invest the $100 for example, 2 years, and you by having for example 10 percentage, so it may give you $120 at the end. So let me say if I want to take it for 1 year, not 2 years, if I want to take $100 for 1 year, and the I is the $10 percentage, so I will expect that $100 will become $110 after 1 year, right? So why this will happen? Because there is an interest rate. Now the question is, after 1 years, the dollar itself, the currency itself, will have the same power or not? If we are talking about the regular economies, so irregular economies, there will be an inflation, and the inflation will be depend from country to country, from currency to another currency, depends on the political situation or other things. So more stable condition, more stable are means less value of the inflation. And usually it will not be more than 4%, so inflation rate. Now it means the $100 actually it will have a power of how much? $104, $106. Why? Because $4 out of the $100 will lose. It will be taken into consideration. Will be the power lost by the dollar itself. So it means that actually you are interesting, but your investment in terms of a number is it $110. In terms of power, it's $106. So here's the main definition of the inflation. So we have to take into consideration the effect of the inflation in our decision making. Means what? Means in all the previous materials that we took in the past 9 chapters, we just take it the minimum structures about itself without having a term of called inflation rate. So there will be, I have to take into, instead of having I, should be, there is another I which is called I sub F. And this I sub F is called inflated rate of return. So inflated rate of return means how much there was actually the rate. So instead of, let me say, when we are taking a cash flow like this, for example, so when we have something like this, let me say this is a P, this is an F, this is an A, and when I see there is an I want to go on to calculate the present worth for this cash flow diagram. So what should I take into consideration? Actually, it's not the I itself, I should take the I sub F. And if I want to define the annual worth, I should take into consideration the inflated I, not the I itself. So I think it's now clear that why we are taking into consideration the inflated rate. So the most important thing is we should have to have an inflated rate, and this inflation rate will affect on all the economic decisions calculations that we had in the before. Now here's the definition. The main definition is the inflation is a decrease in the value of the currency, so it will lose the power. Inflation impact, yes, there will be an impact, an increase in amount of money required to purchase. So instead of, let me say, you have to buy within 10, you want to buy 10 leaf of bread, instead of you want to pay, for example, 1 dinar, you have to pay 1,000 of dinars in terms of IDs. So that means that you are paying more money, more number of money to buy a goods or a service over that time. Now, an increase in the money supply, yes, you have. Why this happen? For example, why our currency is losing its money? Because within the time, the population will be increased. For example, you will go and you may shall married and you will get kids, and the kids they are going to marry and they will bring kids, and then the number of the population will increase. Now, definitely, the amount of money will not be sufficient, or the government should print more money for transactions, right? So having more money, printing money will make the money itself will lose its money, its power. Sorry. Now, printing, yeah, it will have a counteract inflation impact. So more printing, it means the inflation will be more. And this is what was then. Then now there is another definition. There is just a minute. Okay, there is a constant value. Constant value. It means the constant. Sometimes they call it as a current value. So constant value dollars. Money represents same purchasing power regardless of when in time. Another terms it means today's dollar. uh, Constant dollars, constant value is the value that we are taking about. Constant, it's the current power. Means that if you wanna pay $100 now, so you wanna take it, for example, within I equal to 10%, you will take it as $110. Now this dollars and this dollars, they have different name. It is called constant or current dollar. And so this is called today's dollar. Future dollar is the dollar that we are talking about in the after 1 year. So after having 1 year, there will be a dollars, and the dollars called $110. It will be the future dollars, or the then current dollars, or inflated dollars. So this dollar is not the same dollar. This is have been inflated. It is that dollar which is lost its power. So in terms of definitions, now we have two main definitions: constant or current dollars, or today's dollars, and then current dollar. And after current dollar, or inflated dollars, or future dollars. What is the relation between them? Dollars in period of T1. This is the dollars. This is the T1 at time equal 1, and this is time equal 2. So the dollars in period T1 will equal the dollars that we have in period of 2, which is mean this $110, it's dollar, then this is the future dollar, divided by 1 plus inflation between. So what happens between these two terms? What happens in 1 year before the inflation? For example, when we say that the inflation was 4%, it means that any out of the $100, there was 4% is inflation. So it means that the dollars in the future, for example, this dollars in the futures will lose its money powered by 1 plus 0.04. Means 1.04. Now, how much is that will become? 1 divided by 1.04. How much it will become? So it will be $0.96. 0.96. Now, 100. It means that $1 here. It will not be the same $1 in the future. It will be 0.96. Means the $100 here will equal to $996 in the future. So look at this one. This $100 will have two trends. One, it will go increase and to become 106, $110 in the future. This is due to what? Can you tell me due to what this $100 become 106? $110 due to the 6% of the interest rate. Now this dollar itself will come down and it became its power become 96 power. Now as a result, we can say every $100 will equal to 96. Now we have the $110, it will become how much? So for $100, will we have the 996 power? Now $106 will have how much power? So you have to be aware that okay, so it will become how much? Now how much it will become? 1.6, 1.06 times 96. Now yeah, it means that so in the reality, this $110 will have a power of $101.76. This is out of after the inflation rate. So in terms of numbers, yes, you are getting the $110, but in terms of the reality, in terms of the power, this $110 will not have the same power of $106, have the power of 101 and 7. So this is the definition of the inflation rate. Do you have any question regarding the inflation? No, do you understood the term that I told you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Is it clear why we have this value? Why the dollars will have not the same power?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, so let's jump. So here's the current constant value dollars, or today's dollars is equal to today's power of the dollars will have the future values should become divided by 1 plus f power n. And what if I have if I have more than 1 year? I have, for example, 3 years, 4 years. So the definition will be 1, the future dollars divided by 1 plus f, which is the inflation rate. This is the inflation rate. So the inflation rate, or F, is a rate that should be considered in our calculations. And meanwhile, so the future dollar is equal to 1 plus F power n. Now look at this one. A bill, $100 bill 5 years from now. So we have $100 bill, $5 now. For 5 years, at 5 years, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at 5 years now, and with having the 4% inflation rate, FO will purchase only $82. So it means that after 5 years, you cannot buy for $400 the same things. You have to buy. The cost will be about $82. Why 82.2 is coming on? Because we said that the future dollars, future values of future dollars will equal to 1 plus power f, 1 inflation power n. So it means that the future dollars, this is the current dollars, constant dollars, will equal to this one. Now I want to see the $100 now will have the how much power? Let me say the $100 now. Well, how much is the power of it? So 1 plus 0.04 power. So it means that there will be only $82, the price that I can buy it. And the same way that we have used. So if something costs you $82 now, so if we have $82.2 now, it will today in 5 years it will cost you $100. So if I'm going to tell to say that the same thing, the same amount, the same breads, the same, for example, machine, you want to buy it and you didn't have a time, you didn't be lucky to buy it now, and you have $82 now. After 5 years, this $82 you should pay as much as $100 you should pay. So this is the meaning of the inflation. Now, yes, as a conclusion, when inflation is counted, the real return on the saving, if you want to save something, income significantly lower. So if you wanna save $100 now, after 1 year, so with having I equal to 10%, the $110 will not have the same power of the $110. It will have less than this one, because so there will be significantly lower. The power will be lower. And if you are going to, this is if you are going to save, if you are going to take a loan, so a loan have been taken, so you have to pay more than the expected above the interest rate amount. Okay, just a minute, please. Uh, okay, so the saving will be less. Let me say it will have less power, and this will affect on the saving. And but it's very important if you are taking a cost or taking a loan. So the loan, it means make sure to pay more and more. Now, so we say that the decision, the inflect rate itself and the inflation rate itself, we have two important things. Here's the two things. These two things are acting, let me say, reversely. Reversely means what? Means we should, means this. ماشي كان استفهام دكتور الله. Okay, so the real rate or inflated free rate, this is the now. So we have the terms will be look like this. I, we have F, we have I sub f. Now, in an environment that we have inflation rate f, so we have an I. So we should name this I as a inflated free rate. Inflated free rate of return. So rate of return or inflated rate of return, this is will be just in case that the question, or let me say, the whole things that is, there will be a factor, or the infected rate factor is will be the one that we are talking on. Now if f, now f we have, we named that f is inflation rate. So we have I, we have f, we have I sub I. Now what is the difference between them? I is the inflation free rate. This is the inflation free rate. This is the inflation rate. I sub f is the rate that have been affected by the inflation. So now, and this is what, so this is, we called it as a real rate or real inflated free rate. This is f is the, okay. Now I sub f, we say that I is the real rate or inflating free rate. We have another rate is the f with the rate of the change of. Now we have I sub f. I sub f, that's what we should take it into consideration. That's what we name it as inflated rate, or that's, it's called market rate, by the way. Now there is, let me say, before this is what we are going to. Firstly, if you have, for example, if you want to take into consideration the infected rate and the rate here, there will be another new factor which is called I sub f, and this I sub f is equal to I plus f plus I times f. Means what? Means if I have I equal to 10% and f is equal to 4%. So when I want to, for example, to consider this one, when I want to say the future value is equal to p value times the factor is, we want to convert this p to f, so f over p. Now for n equal to any n and I is equal to what? This is will be I sub f. This I sub f will be considered as this one. To take the new decision, for example, if I was 10% and f was 4%, so the real I sub f is equal to 0.1 plus 0.04 plus 0.1 times 0.04, which means how much? 0.14, 0.04 means 14 percentage point 0.04%. So in the reality, if you want to use, let me say, if you are taking a loan of $100, now you will have to pay it back, not when I equal to 10% and f equal to 4%. So after 1 year, you should repay that $100 as $14.04, not $110. Why? Because the $110 will not have the same power of the $100. You should have $114.04 to get this. $114.04 will have the power of the $110. This is the idea. This is the idea, and this is what we should consider it in our calculation. So this I sub f, it should called as yes. It's called the result. Here is the I sub f, and the I sub f, it it will be here. So as a conclusion, I sub f, or infected rate, or the rate, interest rate that should be considered, it will be I sub f, it's equal to I plus f plus I times f. This is I times f, by the way. So 10% plus 4% plus 10% times 4% will give you this much. 0.1 plus 0.04 plus 0.0014. Oh, 0.04, sorry, here's 4. So it will be 0.1404, or it will be 14.04%. So we should use this one in our calculation. We should use, there will not be, usually the I sub f is not, we don't have a table for that one, because the previous values of I was based on the I value, the real one. But nowadays, when we want to calculate the effect of inflation rate, then there will be another one, or another calculation for the amount based on the ZAD. Look at this one. When you have a real rate, 8% infected rate, 4, 6, so the inflated adjusted, or the market rate, this market rate will be 0.04 plus 0.06 plus times this one and this one, so equal to 0.14, 0.46. So if you are borrowing $100, so you should pay it as 140. Just a minute. They're very soon. Here's all what we have all for having the inflation. So my pen. Okay. Have you saw my pen? Do you understand why I mentioned what's the meaning of the adjusted value, or adjusted rate of? So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Good morning, doctor. How are you? لا لا والله معترة بخاتك. وش كتليتي؟ لا لا معترة. بس شو رجعني؟ لا يقوم يكمل عليه خلاص يكمل. لا بدأ الشغل ساعات بعد. أول هذا شيء يعني. شو تقول؟ ده صوت. لا صح. ده صوت. عزيز. I found it. Okay, found it. So we mentioned this is an effect of the rate. There is a rate, yeah. So now, again, let's repeat all of that. So we have the terminology that we are using is the terminology that we are using, the current value or the current dollars. We have future dollars, and the difference between them is the rate of inflation F. We have real rate. This is the rate of real. This is F is the inflated rate. We have I sub F, which is the market rate or the adjusted rate that we have it, and all the values will be looked at this one. Now let's have this small easy examples. If you are taking a $5,000, the present value is cost now, so we have $5,000 now, 0, and this $5,000 increased to become $5,849 in 4 years. Why? Because of the effect of the inflation. Why? So the inflation told me that, okay, the future value of the dollars will become this, the nowadays dollars times a factor. The factor is 1 plus F sub n. So $5,000 now, 1 plus the rate is how much? 0.04 power 40. So look at this one, 1.04 power 4. How much it will become? It will become, how much it will be? 1.169. Now times 5,000. So it becomes times 5,000. So 5,849. 29. So at least without touching anything, without having any effect rates. So if you are borrowing $5,000 and you want to pay that $5,000 in the future, so you have to prepare $5,849 at least, because this is without having any effect of the interest rate. So this is what the power of the data. But if you are, let me say, investing the $5,000, so this $5,000 real value is not after the 40 will not remain the same as the 5,000. It will be 5,849. For example, I'm going to for example, the $5,000 in now, it should make a fortune after 4 years by 10%. So how much it will tell us? It will become future value will become $5,000 times 1 plus 0.1 power 4, which is equal to $5,000 power. How much? 1.1 power 4. 1.1 power 4 times $5,000. So we're supposed to have $7,320.5. Now the idea is I'm going to give you $5,000, right? So with an interest rate, you should turn it as a $7,320.5. But it means how much was the benefit, or how much is the interest was from this one? $7,000 minus $5,000 will give you. So the total was it looked like I am taking from you $2,320.5, but in the reality this comes from the $7,320 320.5 minus the 5,000 that I give it to you. So this is the amount that should I take it into my consideration, or this is the benefit that I have. But in the reality, I'm not having this much. In reality, the $7,320.5 should be deducted. The 8,849.29. So the 7,320.5 minus 5,849.29. Now it means that taking into the inflation rate, I am the interest. It is not 2,000. It's $1,471.21. So if I want to make it precisely, I am in this business, in this job. I am not interested. I don't have the $2,320.5 in the reality. I will have the separate of the 1,471, not the 2,000. So you should be careful if you wanna exactly to have this much. If your plan of if I my plan to get back 2,320 from out of this transaction, so what should I do? I should increase the rate. I should increase this 10%. I should use not 10%. I should use a 10% plus the 4% plus 10 times 4%. So this is yes. In this case, you will use you will say I will not give it the 5,000 for only 10%. I will give you for 14%. But this is I will give it you in 14 to get the interest of the 10%. This is the you should be careful for that. Okay. So is it clear to you what is the inflation rate? It means now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any question regarding the inflation rate and how we calculate this one? Any
No.
question? So what is the important thing is look at the question. If there was any mentioning for the inflation rate, so you should take care and you should find if you want to calculate the things that you wanted, you have to use the I sub F, the market rate. If it asks you to calculate within the rate, you should use the real rate. This is without inflation. Inflation, market rate. So we have three definitions for I. This is real rate. This is inflation rate. This is market rate or adjusted. So we will take this one to calculate the value of the dollars that we want. So to calculate the present or the dollars. An example, using I sub F to determine the equivalent swap. Look at this one. We have the present value. We want to calculate the present value for the 4 years in the future. Yeah, this is what I mean by the 3,000. So $5,000 now. The $5,000 that I took into consideration, I want to calculate its future value after 4 years. So its future value it will be 3,450. Okay, as a conclusion, and this is very important, we have for the conclusion that if you want to save money, so you have to save 5,849 in 4 years to count it as a $5,000. Okay. Look at this example. I have a lottery winning can take into 1 to 3 ways. Let me say I win a lottery. The word lottery is to be look like that. There is $1 million. You can take that $1 million now. So how much is the winning? The winners will take, you can take $1 million now, or there is another option. You can take more than $1 million, but in this way, we will pay you 8 payments. So 8 payments times 50,000, 8 payment, yeah, $50,000. How much it will become? Oh, sorry, it's not $1 million. So 10, it is $100,000. Again, let me repeat. So there is one, you are winner. The winners can take, this is now. Or we can, another option for you, you can take 8 payments, and in each payments you can, we will give you a 50,000. So 8 times 15, how much? Hello?
It is about
I have this option for you, Jir. I can give you the
it is 100.
100,000.
It is $120,000.
$120,000.
Yes.
But be careful. This 8 payments will be they will be per each year. So I can give you, this is will be during,
8 years.
okay, this is now. You can take $100,000 and go. You can take $50,000 every 1 year for 8 years. So it means that you are taking more. There is another way, or there is another option for you. We will give you 3 options: 45,000 now, another 45,000, but this is will be after 4 years, another 45,000 after another 4 years. So how much in total it will become? 120, 135,000. Okay. There is a rate. There is a rate of, there is an interest rate which is 6%. There is another one which is the inflation rate, which is 4%. Now, based on what, I want you to tell me which one is the best. Where is Akram?
Yes, sir.
Which one you
Sir,
think it's the best?
sir, I think we should try to use a formula
Yes, and
for the
find
second and third one. Yes.
second and third. Why what the first one?
Because it's the same year. There is no inflation. It's immediate.
Yeah, immediately. So it means that I'm going, look like you are, it is look like you have 3 options, A, B, C. So you wanna, let me say, you wanna find a present worth analysis for A, and present worth analysis for B, and present worth analysis for C. It means look like this. You mean this, right? It's this, but we will have to consider it this way. So the options, firstly, we have we have to take into consideration the market value. The market value is said that it's equal to I sub f, it's equal to I plus f plus I times f. I is 6% and f is 4%, and I times f is 6 times 4, which is 10.24. Now, if I wanna find the present worth value of A in the first time, so it's look like I can say it's a one value, so it's equal to 10,000. The second 2 options, which is here's the one, you can take every year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It say that they will give you $15,000 every year, right? And you can use I sub F because why? Because the real market value is will be the real one. You should take I times F times I times F, which is 10.34%. And you have to say how much it will be the present value, worth value of B. This is alternative. Alternative C is you can get out of the, in 8 year 8 you will get 45,000. In year 4, so we have 5, 6, 7. In year 4 you have another 45,000, and now they will give you 45,000. So we want to find the present worth for B. If I want to find the present worth of B, I will say I have $15,000 every year. Okay, this is A, so I should find its present value. So I will say multiply by P over A for n equal to 8 years, I equal to how much?
10.24.
10.24%. So I will find this one, and you can see this, we don't have a table for this one. So I will just use this one, formula. And we will see the present value of B. Or you can use Excel sheet. The Excel sheet, let me, I will use Excel sheet now. Yeah, so yeah, this is probably the first. Okay, let me share the Excel sheet with you. Yeah. Now we said the options is to 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? So they will give you next year $50,000, and this will be for the whole. Now, the first option, this is alternative B, right? Alternative A, you can get right now $100,000. Alternative B is here. Alternative C is you can get in year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In year 0, you can take 45,000. In year 4, you will get 45,000. In year 8, you get 45,000. Right now, we say that I want to calculate the present worth value of A, and present value of A is equal to, for the first one, it is equal to $100,000 itself. For this one, I can use the present value of B will equal to present value, worth value of B is equal to how much? I will use, you can use PV, this is a PV value. For how much is the rate? 10.24, right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So 10.24. Now, the number of the period that I have is 8 years, so I should write it. How much is the payment? It's 50,000. How much is the future value? Nothing. Comma 0. Now, so the future value, the future present value of this one, it's the 79,000. So now if you have this too much, the A and the B, so which one it will be more effective for you? So
Hey,
take
sir.
it, yeah, take it now and leave the rest. Even, by the way, if you wanna calculate all the values numerically, you can get 120,000. Okay. Okay. If I want to take the third option, which is third one. Now, how to calculate this one? How to find the present worth value for this cash flow diagram? Uh, we say that we don't, in this case, we can use the, which command, it is PV or NPV. We should use, hello?
NPV.
NPV.
NPV. Why NPV? Because it's not standard. So for the NPV, it means the net present value, the rate is 0.1024, right? Comma. The values, it will be from the first year until the end year. Now, this is the net present one, plus what we have. Plus we have in the first cell, here's the first cell. Now look at this one. So do you understand this step? What I did for this part, we can use the NPV. So the NPV is just to turn these parts to a present value. And there is 45,000 already in the year one, so it cannot be factorized. So what should I do? I will find the NPV for this one. This part is the NPV for this part. And I will add the first year part to this one to get this one. Now you have three options, this one, and this one, and this one, right? Now, which one is fit with you? Which one? Take $100,000 now and leave the rest. It should be, this is your choice, right? Do you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
So it appears to you that this is one we are saying, even this is 100,000, and this is, if I want to guide, this is 120,000, and it's here 135,000. But economically, here's the real value of these values. So this is not to be considered, the values are to be considered either zero. So take, this one will be, will win, or you have to take this option. This option will be have to be taken into consideration for this one. Hello.
Okay, sir.
Okay, let's go back to our lecture. Okay, what I did here, I just found the present worth for the first one, the second worth, and the third one. This is if you wanna use our usually one. This is the 10, so this is will be the winner. Now, in this example, and by the way, this is I bring this one in the one of my final exams. You have this cash flow diagram. I want you to calculate the present worth value in two cases. Firstly, without rate, and secondly, with rate, with inflation rate. So what should I do? It's required from you to find the present worth value in two cases. So it means that firstly, you have to use your regular one, as in the previous chapter, how to find the present worth of this case. So what I will do, I will have this part, I will compare this part This is a G. So we got this one, it was 7,000, and in year 2 there was a G value which is $840. So the G is equal that much. Okay, the second thing is we have this part. So what I will do, I will find firstly, I will find for this part, I will convert all payments in this year to this value. How to do that? I will say the present world value of this G will equal to, we have a first one, A, which is the $7,000 plus. So we have A, this is A, and this A becomes $7,000. I should convert it to B. How to do that? We have A, we want to multiply by P. For how many years? We have 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For n equal to 9 and I equal to. And if I'm using without any inflation, I should use 50%. Plus we have $840. This is G. Could be converted to P. This is also for n equal to 9 and I equal to 50. Then after that, I am done with this part. There is another part. There will be another pipe from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So after that, this, let me say, this I will get this value, and this value I think it's it will become $83. This is what we have it, 83, 232. So I think it's 83,000. It will become 83,000. And now we have 83,000. So we have 7,000 payments. So yeah, by the way, this should be here, 83,000. So the 83,000 is representing all the cash flow that have been from year 5, 4 till year 30. Now after that, I will convert it all to one single value in year 4. So I have this one, I have $7,000 for 4 years. So how much it will become? I will convert this one. This is F. I want to make it as a P, and this is A. I'll convert it to as a P and add them together. This is will be, and by the way, we have 35,000 in the as a present cost. So this is will be the total cost for the 4 years. This is in case that we have using without inflation. Now I will repeat all these calculations with another I, and this another I is called in market I, or it will be I sub F, and I sub F in my case is equal to I plus F plus I times F. I is 50%, I is how much? 50%, 0.15 plus F is 0.11 plus 0.15 times 0.1. And you will say, I think it's 0.27. It will become 0.27 point something, 0.27 something. So yeah, so here's the calculation. Firstly, the interest rate, the regular one without having one. So this is I sub F 15, 11, 15 times 11, 27. It's I sub F, and so this is without case. So you should use for the all transactions I equal to 15. Here's you should use 27.65. Now here's without inflation, we have 35,000. We have $7,000 for 4 years. So we converted to P, and this is this part is the 7,000. The A and I converted the A to P for 4 years, for 9 years, sorry. And after that, we add, for this one, we add, this has become a single value in year 4. So it should be F converted to a single value. So it should multiply by another factor, P over F 15.4. And this is without, and with inflation rate, you will repeat all the gram by using here's 27.65%, and here's 27.65%, here's 27.65%. Okay. The same will be for the future values, and I want you to read and do the example 5 as well. Do you have any question? Hello?
No, sir.
So everything is clear.
Yes.
Yes.
I want you to practice the chapter, the example, these examples in this chapter, because they are very important. And by the way, tomorrow will be a revision. So if you have any question, just ask me. I will open a Zoom meeting for you. There will not be any new material for you for tomorrow, and we will allocate tomorrow for review. Okay, and even now after this meeting, there will be no extra hours, and this way there will be 10 chapters for the final exam will be included for the final exam of the Sunday. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So if you don't have any questions, so you can leave, and